This episode is brought to you by Strong Coffee Company. Make sure you check them out at strongcoffeecompany.com. Use the promo code ATI Wrestling and receive 20% off. Get it now. Welcome into Around the Indies, Indy Spotlight, or Indy Limelight. I'm going to mess it up there. But welcome into it. We got the big rascal, Hunter Rhodes. What's going on, Hunter, man? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, you got lucky, But nah, man. Let me just ask you this: what year was it? 2020 we met at the farm.
I believe so. Either 2019 or 2020, something around there.
One of them, man. It's been so long ago. Can you believe how long it's been that we've been around each other that long?
It's been crazy, man. It has been wild.
I just couldn't believe it the other day. I was just thinking, man, I can remember when you and Noah broke in as the varsity, just tearing the house down, and I can remember reffing your little matches at the training facility. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah, man. Just trying to do our best, man. Trying to use the platform God's given us the best of our ability to spread His love and His joy and bring people, together.
Let me ask you this, man. There's a couple things I want to touch on about the training before we get into, how you got started or whatever. But do you remember training and being told that you need to dye your hair blonde?
Oh my gosh. Every training session, dude, I'd never get enough of it. You need to dye your hair blonde. And then Steve, he wanted me to do I started doing the elbow drop, and he was like, now you just got to dye your hair blonde. So yeah, every training session, man.
And that came because you look like Dusty a little bit. You got the Dusty look,
Yeah.
and you got the charisma that Dusty had. So I mean, why not? Why not go there?
That's an honor to be compared to Dusty Rhodes as a charisma, and hey, he wasn't a bad looking dude, so I'll take it.
I don't know what you was looking at, but but now, man, like before you got into wrestling, like what made you get into wrestling? Because like, where did you want to start? Like, what era did you start watching?
So, dude, I've been watching wrestling as long as I can remember. My father, he would always have it on every Monday and every Friday in our little man cave. And I just, jump off the couch watching it, stuff like that, man. John Cena and Randy Orton, those were the two guys at the time who were really at the top of their game, and feuding a lot. And I wasn't the typical, hey, I want to be a firefighter or police officer. Every time somebody would ask me, I'd always say I didn't know until I was about maybe 12. And then I was like, you know what? I want to try wrestling. And then my brother and he was like, hey, let's start a backyard wrestling company. I know it gets shamed on a lot in the professional wrestling world, but I'm not ashamed of it. I love our little backyard thing that we had going on when we were younger, man. And that's actually how I met Noah and Braden. And then come to find out, I knew them since we were little. So, it just kick-started there, man. It's been a really fun journey.
Oh, it has, man. And we met, like I said, we met in 2020. I was doing the ref thing, refed a lot of your training session matches and stuff like that. But then, we got into SWA.
Yep.
I started, refing during the COVID era. So when we was filming, we were in empty buildings.
Right.
So, I think it was Pedal was one of the buildings we
Yeah.
were at that we did it. Kind of tell me, because by the time y'all started wrestling, I had kind of already left SWA, or whatever. We'll talk about that. But how did it start in SWA? Like, what was your feelings that first night? What, like getting in there and actually doing it in front of a crowd?
Man, it was something special because it actually took place in our hometown. Homegrown boys of Laurel, Mississippi, right down the road in the Cameron Center. And man, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it, dude. A lot of family and friends were there. It was like standing room only. I think it was like over 450 there. It was crazy, man. And it's a night I won't forget, man. It was truly a special night, and I just really appreciate my hometown for showing up for us that night.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw the video, and they showed up and showed out for the hometown boys. Now, you and Noah, known as the varsity at the time, have won the SWA Tag Team Championships. How many times did y'all win them?
Uh, it, just me and Noah ourselves, we won them, I believe, once, and we won them at South Jones High School, Rumble at the Reservation, and we lost them the the year after that in March at Myrick, Mississippi, to the Daybreakers. But Noah and Braden, I guess we can count it all as the varsity, a total of 4 times. So yeah, they're doing pretty good, I guess, bringing in some tag team gold for us. But myself and Noah only won them once.
Now, they're current SWA Tag Team Champions, the Hosey Bros, baby.
Yes, sir.
And but let me ask you that. Now, you brought up a good point. Myrick, Mississippi. What was that? Outlaws Last Stand.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so y'all lost to the Daybreakers. Give me your history with the Daybreakers, because I
Oh
know.
wow.
But look. Here's what I mean. Like, I know when y'all broke in, Daybreakers were your buddies. They were trying to help you out. Then they kind of just went to the dark side there for a little while. But
Yeah.
that match in Myrick, it was kind of the start of maybe the respect that the Daybreakers were giving to you. So
Yeah.
kind of enlighten us on the Daybreakers and the history.
So with the Daybreakers, Doc and Nate, man, we have known them since we stepped foot in the farm, and we were getting trained by Steve Starr, and they really just took us under their wing and become our mentors. A lot of people kind of crapped on us when we first come into the business because they were like, "Oh, there's just snot nosed kids." Now, granted, we deserved every bit of it because we did stupid crap, but to deserve it. But we're past that. But Doc and Nate were really the only two or four. There was four people. I'm not going to name the other two, but there were really two people that only really stuck with us, man. And they really helped us a lot. They helped us learn, and then they just weren't there. Honestly, they kind of just started disrespecting the fans, and that didn't take too well with us. So we had our first match with them at the Greene County Fair, and it didn't end well, obviously. But then we got our rematch. Against them at South Jones. That's when we beat them for the tag team championships, and then obviously a match at Myrick, Mississippi, when we lost the championships to them. A match that is still one of my favorites today, and we really just. I think took them to the limit, man. We really did. Noah kind of tweaked his neck, but was able to fight out of it. I tweaked my shoulder, was able to fight out of it, and at the end of the match, I think we really gained a lot of their respect, and it was all uphill from there.
And yeah, I'm just saying the Daybreakers, a big fixture in the SWA community. And speaking of SWA, we'll talk a little bit about this. You know, the fans at SWA, they're one of a kind. I mean,
Oh,
they are through thick and thin. They're there, and you just gotta love it. What's your thoughts on the SWA fans?
I love them, man. They hold a special place in my heart because to me, SWA is home. Obviously, an independent wrestler, you go everywhere, right? Um, but SWA has really been my home, honestly. And those fans, man, I have really been blessed to gain a special connection with those fans, man. And they're loyal. They are very loyal to SWA. Like back in the day, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm coming for Barry Wolf or Lucas Frost or the Daybreakers or Dalton Delk or." But now I feel like if you go out in the crowd and you ask them, they're there to watch SWA and the amazing product that we're putting out. They are really loyal, and I just love them, man. They are what makes SWA run, I believe.
They're great. It's the crowds and the fans at SWA are great. Now, moving on, you've been all over the independent scene as well, like you said. SWA's home. You went everywhere else. You've even come down to AWA when I owned it,
Yep.
even before I owned it. And what was your thoughts when I owned it? Like when you came down, how welcomed was you in AWA?
Oh, dude, it was instantly a great atmosphere to be in. Um, I know. I believe. we come to a show just to check you guys out, and y'all let us in the locker room, and y'all
I
are
remember that.
watching.
Yeah, that was before I owned it. I remember that.
Yeah, y'all are watching, I believe, Royal Rumble, and y'all just was like, "Hey, stay with us, watch the Royal Rumble, let's hang out," and then you bought it, man, and it just took off from there, and y'all started booking us like crazy, and it was really fun. It was a fun point in time of my career that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, because when y'all come down, like I didn't even know y'all were coming,
Yeah,
and then I saw y'all in the crowd, came out, talked to you, come on to the back, man, and
yeah,
that was it. I've always been very high on y'all,
well, I
um,
appreciate that.
man, and just I always put a good word in for you. You've been around, like I said, the independent scene. I want you to name some of the places that you've been on the independent scene that's not necessarily around here, and where you've had some where some of your funnest moments have been outside of Mississippi or outside of the norm.
Right, right. Obviously, honestly, I'm gonna go with New Level Pro. It's a promotion out of Alabama. They run in really like the Jacksonville, Huntsville area above Birmingham. We got to meet a lot of cool people there, man. A lot of opportunities opened us up for us whenever we were down there. We wrestled in the rain. Obviously, that was it was a mess, but it was fun as fun memories. We got to do a lot of things. We had a lot of control over what we were doing out there, and man, it was so much fun. It was a blast. We got to meet a lot of bigger names too, so that was uh, probably
Who's the biggest name you've met?
Alex Shelley.
Alex Shelley.
Yeah,
Who's that?
he's a tag team or a member of the tag team Motor City Machine Guns. They just
Never
signed with WWE.
never heard of him. I'm just joking. I know who Alex Shelley is, but and my wife does too. That's one of her favorite wrestlers of all time. So and but anyway, continue on with like, where are some other places that you've ventured off to that you enjoyed?
We wrestled for OWO a good bit. We're actually still there. Me and Braden are still their tag team champions. They haven't been running shows here lately, but they do some like bar shows. Obviously, young kids wrestling in a bar, that was kind of wild, but fun
I
nonetheless.
can see
Because
Braden out there.
yeah, yeah. And we wrestled for Diamond Championship Wrestling one time. That was pretty fun. Got to meet a lot of the guys in the back. They were really cool to us. Um, and obviously you got the battles on SWA, AWA, and all them. And we've tried to venture out other places, but I get it's just something about Mississippi, man. We don't like going outside of Mississippi too much.
I'm gonna get to a question. I was gonna probably ask this later on. I'm gonna go ahead and ask it now.
Okay.
So outside of the norm, like SWA and all of this, I mean,
Mm.
let's venture outside of Mississippi. What's an independent promotion that's really got your eye that you really would like to wrestle for that you hadn't?
Oh man. I'd probably go with New South. They are, I believe, in Alabama. Obviously, you got Memphis Championship Wrestling. And then if you go up north, I don't really know a lot up there, but like you have like obviously the really big one is GCW, Game Changer, like with Moxley and all them, and then like you have the young bucks when they were upcoming in wrestling and like Kevin Steen and stuff like that. I don't know if they uh, want the varsity, but I'd love to go up there, man.
I mean, hey, the varsity can go wherever, man. But let me ask you this now: you coming into it, you got into your career. I mean, you've had a good run, and
Trying
then
to.
one night you ran into Loco Lobo when he was the SWA Heavyweight Champion, and
Yep.
somehow you won the heavyweight title. Kind of go over that night and the feeling you had once your hand was raised.
Man, that was a special night. It was at originally we wrestled at the Cameron Center again. That was the first time I was able to wrestle for a championship, a singles championship, shall I say. Um, and the referee got knocked out. I ended up getting the pin as another referee slid in there and counted the three. I got my hand raised with the championship, but the other referee was like, "It's it doesn't count. He's disqualified. He put his hands on the ref," which is respectable. Um, referee's decision's final, and then that just kind of allowed me to get a rematch because I think management saw something in a young Hunter Rhodes. I don't know what, but I'm very grateful that they did. And they were like, "Hey, you deserve a championship rematch. We're going to give it to you at your alma mater of West Jones High School. Go Mustangs!" Um, and just everybody there, the atmosphere, man. From waking up that day, it was just honestly an uneasy feeling because obviously you got the butterflies start fluttering, but like man, I was a nervous wreck. And you go into the locker room, and SWA does a good job of putting us in separate locker rooms as the people that we don't like, like the Barry Wolves and all of them. Um, and then you get out there, man, and just everything goes away. It was complete tunnel vision, and I normally don't get tunnel vision when I'm out there. It was complete tunnel vision for me, and we go out there, and he tried to cheat his way out, but luckily I had Lucas Frost there to have my back and Noah and Braden, and I was able to get the pin on Barry Wolf, one of, if not the greatest independent wrestler, and one of the greatest champions in SWA. And that was a very special moment. Got to be there in front of my family and my friends and a lot of people I graduated high school with. So it was really cool.
Man, I bet it was a feeling, and yeah, like you said, Barry Wolf, legendary baby, legendary. The local Lobo. You know, a couple weeks ago, me and you was actually sharing the locker room, or in the same
Yep,
locker room, and you took on Andreas, who's another young and up and coming star. And man, y'all put on a clinic. It was a good match.
appreciate it.
My wife thoroughly enjoyed it, and when she enjoys matches, she's not one of these that can just be easily impressed.
Yeah,
But she's a big fan of Andreas's and yourself, so she enjoyed it and thought it was one of Andreas's one of his top matches as a singles competitor, and y'all really tore the house down. Let me give me some thoughts on Andreas and lost start of wrestling as well.
man. That first off, that's an honor, man, to be a part of somebody's top match. That I really appreciate that. But man, Andreas is a cool dude. Um, I mean, we were buddies when they first broke in. Um, and Lost Art was like, "Hey, we know y'all are friends, but we want y'all to go out there and show people what you got." And we were like, "We got you." Um, and fortunately, I was able to get the win over Andreas, and respect to him. That kid can go, man. He is something else, and he's got a bright future, and he is very humble and respectable person, and he's got a bright future, and I really appreciate what we were able to do in the ring at Lost Art of Wrestling. And to answer the second part of your question, Lost Art of Wrestling, man, they are fantastic. They are doing a great job down there. They are doing something that a lot of other promotions don't do, and that is pushing the Lord. Their forefront is Jesus Christ Himself. Um, and I just love the atmosphere that they bring. I love the Christian music they play before the show. I love how they bring guest speakers in. Really allows a lot of the wrestlers to work on their faith and their walk with Christ, and it's something special, man. I hope that they are able to succeed, and their ceiling, is so high, and I hope they're able to reach that.
Yeah, I love Lost Art. Been one of my favorite shows since 2019. Going to just uh, enjoy the Riot family, enjoy everything they do there.
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna take a real quick break and thank our sponsor, Strong Coffee Company. Make sure you go to strongcoffeecompany.com. I mean, on any product that you get, you put the promo code ATI Wrestling in, and you're going to get 20% off. So make sure you go check out strongcoffeecompany.com. All right, now we're going to jump back into a little more stuff here before we start to close out. We're going to get ready to close out here in just a few. But before we do, like SWA is your home. We know that. You also do Battle Zone. What you been doing in Battle Zone, and how are things going over there? And then give me a little bit, not too much, because we don't want to make his head inflate, but give me a little talk about Pharaoh.
Uh, Man, that pimp is something else, and I don't know what my truck is doing. I apologize, so I'm gonna turn it off. Man, Battlezone, they're picking up, man. Pharaoh called me uh a couple days ago. We were just kind of reflecting on what Battlezone was and to what it is now. It has truly been something special to be a part of and watch it grow as a whole. I know it's one of the longest, if not the longest, running independent wrestling company. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, to date, I believe. He's doing some special things over there, man. He has got that crowd in the palm of his hand. Um, and he is just showing what Battlezone's about, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Um, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for Big Rascal and Battlezone.
I'm gonna just say this, and you talk about Battle Zone and how long it's been around and whatnot. You want to know a funny story?
Oh yeah.
Billy D. McLean used to own Battle Zone before Pharaoh.
Oh wow.
All right, so Billy D. And I'll have to get up with Billy D. But I sent Billy D. when I was 17 years old. There was a wrestler at Battle Zone, and it was called NWA Battle Zone back then. His name was White Chocolate,
Mm.
and I remember looking at the old website, and it was like I can't remember what the name of those websites were. It was something fire, but it was like where you could create you a free website. And anyway, it had a email address or something on there, and I emailed it, and I think it was Brother Love that was it was Brother Love and Billy D doing it. But anyway, I sent a tape in, a VHS tape,
Oh
mind you.
gosh.
Yeah, VHS tape of me cutting a promo back then. I don't know if Billy D still got it or not, whatever, but that was my first introduction. I was supposed to be going and training at Battle Zone, and then I moved.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's been a while, man. That was like 25, 26 years ago.
Oh wow. I was not trying to make you feel old, but I wasn't born yet. So
Well, I didn't think you was. I mean, I didn't think you was. Yeah, I've already felt old. So, but yeah, NWA Battle Zone goes way back. Goes way back, and it's had some big moments. I know back in the day, they used to run weekly in McGee at
oh wow.
Battle Zone. Yeah, and I mean I think it was every Saturday night. And
Dang.
you go back and you can look at some of these old tapes, and you see Pharaoh, you see Eric Black, you see Chris Black, and Monty Warbucks.
Yeah.
Oh, Monty, man, I love Monty. Monty's
He's a great
actually going
guy.
to be on the podcast in a few days.
That's gonna be
So
awesome. I'm excited to
yeah,
watch that.
I love catching up with Monty and talking. Let me get your thoughts on Monty. In my opinion, Marvelous Monty Warbucks one of the best minds in wrestling. I mean, there is not many people that can touch him, and he has got the gift of gab as well.
Oh man, dude, I mean, you said it best. He is one of, if not the greatest minds in wrestling that I'm able to know personally on a personal level, and he has taken a lot of time with myself and knowing Braden to just teach us things about this business, and I have so much respect for Monty and Calvin Rose too. Um,
Yes, Calvin.
man, he has taken so much time, and he would tell my mom, and he doesn't know that I know this, but he would tell my mom when we would go to some of the SWA shows, I see so much of Hunter and my younger self. And at the time I was like, "Hey, man, that's really cool." But now that I'm able to actually like reflect and think on that, like that is an honor. Like that is a privilege to for Monty Warbucks himself to compare me to a young Monty Warbucks, man. That is something special. And he has I'm very grateful for the time that he has taken with me to teach me and really help me hone my craft.
Monty, man, he's helped me so much too, from my early days to from the podcast to me getting into wrestling. Uh, he's just been such a great help. I had King of Wrestling podcast a long time ago,
Yeah.
and Monty was on the show. And still to this day, the first episode of King Wrestling Podcast was like 6 years ago,
Oh
7 years
wow.
ago. Yeah. So 6 or 7 years ago was the first, you know, episodes dropped. Monty was probably, I want to say, my 20th guest or so. He
Mm,
was towards the end of the year on that. As a matter of fact, I believe he was like the last episode we had of the year, or right there at it.
mm.
And do you know he still holds the record for most downloads of anybody I've ever had on the podcast?
That does not surprise me. Not
Now,
one bit.
now when I look at it, my podcast used to get a lot of downloads, like a
Right.
lot. And usually the first day, I would get like 10,000 downloads,
Oh wow.
maybe a little more, depending. Monty's on the first day got 55,000 downloads and then ended
Goodness.
up with like over, I think, 1.1 million listens.
Wow.
That is the most downloads for any podcast I've ever had. And I've had Tito Santana on. I had like, I had some of the rising stars like Carmelo Hayes was on the podcast before he signed with W. As a matter of fact, he had signed with WWE. He had just not got there yet.
Right.
And or signed with NXT, whatever you want to say. Had Anthony Green on. I mean, I've had a lot of names, and then here's Monty Warbucks, who's a name here, who's a name in our independent wrestling scene, one of the legends,
Right.
and he has more downloads than Tito Santana, a WWE Hall of Famer.
That is
So
awesome.
it,
That is
it is,
awesome.
man. It is. I want to thank you for coming. Before we go, we know SWA's got a show coming up April the 26th. I'm getting Loco Lobo, Barry Wolf to come on as well. We're going to try to get him on the week of the, that show. Give us a little insight on that, and then I want you to tell everybody where they can find you on social media, and then we're going to, head out.
Awesome, man. Yeah, April 26th. It is called SWA Recipe for Disaster. It's at Northeast Jones High School. A year-long hiatus that we took from Northeast, but we're back, and it is going to be something special. Matches that already been announced are Barry Wolf versus Samson Richards for the SWA Championship. That's going to be exciting, man. They have been going at it, and Chris White or Coach White will be taking on Antonio Bronson. So I'm excited to see that, to see how the Northeast Jones principal holds up. I will be in action against Mott Fleming. That's going to be fun. Right now, I'm not wearing my wrist brace. Lord, please, doctors, SWA doctors, don't scold me. It's getting washed right now. That's why I don't have it on. But man, it's going to be an exciting show. You can get tickets if you contact SWA Promotions on Facebook Messenger. Admission is $10. Reserved ringside seating is $15. Bell time is at 6. The show starts at 7. It's going to be an exciting night, man, and we're just going to keep uh, floating on this blueberry in space, and we're just going to keep rolling and doing our thing because it's been a great year for SWA, and we can't wait to see who all comes along for the ride. And
Awesome.
sorry to do my socials. You can find me on Facebook at Hunter Rhodes, and you can find me on Instagram at Hunter.Rhodes Wrestling.
Sounds good, man. Well, before we do get out, I got one more thing, but I'm going to get to this. The Brilliant One hasn't been to SWA in a while.
Yeah, I know it,
Hmm.
man.
May need to change that soon. But before we do that, I just got one name to bring up to you. I just want to get your thoughts.
Oh
The
gosh,
great Nick Wonder.
gosh. I hate Nick Wonder. I'm gonna try to keep it down because like that, just
I love Nick Wonder. I think Nick Wonder's a great person, man.
he's not.
Especially, you know, what he did to your little girlfriend.
No. See, it's one thing to mess with a man's loved one, but it's or like family member, but like the person that you spend the rest of your life with, like your person that you plan on marrying, that you plan on having kids with and living the rest of your life with, man, that is a different thing. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now, Nick. You lay your hands on my girl. You try to take me out by breaking my wrist or fracturing my wrist. You know, you can do all that, but word around town is you have a new baby coming up that's due. You might want to change your ways before that kid is able to see what a piece of crap her father is. So, just gonna put that out there. Yeah,
I've never known Nick Wonder being a piece of crap. What are you talking about?
dude. A lot of people don't know a lot of things about Nick Wonder, but it's time I expose the truth, and I'm gonna just leave that at that before I get a little too enraged.
Yeah. Well, Big Rascal, Hunter Rhodes, thank you for joining us here on Around the Indies,
Thank
Indy
you.
Limelight. We appreciate you coming on. Uh, give me 1 second. We'll holler at you a little later. Y'all enjoy.